So, bit of a tricky one this. Isn't the time better spent teaching men not to attack? So this, I think, this is going to come from a place of, at the peak of the Me Too movement, there was a meme going around that said "protect your daughters," and that was sort of sprayed out, and then it was "educate your sons." I get where they're coming from with that. However, it's very important to remember not all attacks are committed by men. Not all attacks are sexually motivated. So, as nice as it would be to sit people down and go, you shouldn't attack people because it's naughty. If that worked, we wouldn't have repeat offenders. If telling people what you're doing is wrong worked, then you wouldn't have criminals to begin with. That doesn't work on people who know what they're doing is illegal. It doesn't work on people who know what they're doing is wrong. If somebody is trying to take you away from witnesses, it's because they already know that what they're doing is wrong. So telling them this is wrong doesn't have any effect. It would be nice, it would be very nice and much, much easier for my life, certainly, if every violent act was committed by a man. It's much, much easier to just, if you are at work and you, essentially if you spark, so if you chin somebody and you spark them, if it's a fella, people will applaud and want to buy you a drink. If you're getting attacked by a woman, there's no real easy way out of that. I mean, luckily the bar I'm on most times is by a canal, so if someone does get it, you can just shove them in. You then hope that they can swim, because otherwise it's attempted murder on your part. But for the most part, if you've got a woman kicking off, it's very difficult to do anything, because if you just give them a smack and go, look, as far as I'm concerned, you're a fully able human being who's attacking me. Feel like you shouldn't be hitting women, mate. You shouldn't be hitting women. Well, she was trying to smash a fucking pint glass into my face. Yeah, but still, mate, you're a stranger. She's only a woman, which is the most sexist and just brain dead and backwards thing you can say. If somebody stood in front of you and they're 5'8" and they're 9.5 stone and they're trying to marry a pint glass to your face, whether they're a man or a woman should be completely fucking irrelevant. However, isn't it better if we spend the time teaching men? Well, no, because as I've gone over in other videos, the criminal element don't give a flying fuck about your rights. So teaching someone, everyone has the right to not be attacked. I get that, but it's a really easy way of me getting money, so fuck their right not to be attacked. Just telling people this is wrong does not stop it. That's why we have the police. So what you're saying is, wouldn't it be better if, rather than having the police force, all the money and effort we spend on funding the police and training the police, let's just make more of an effort and spend that time and effort and energy on telling men don't commit crimes? Would that work? Would that work? No, it fucking wouldn't. That's why we teach self-defense. That's why we have a police force. It's also a very narrow-minded view, but it's what sells papers, to say women are only ever attacked by men for rape purposes. Women attack women all the fucking time. There's an article, if I can find it, I'll put it up on here. 6 women attacked one woman in a bar in New York, I think it was a nightclub, because the girl that was by herself had liked the Facebook picture of the boyfriend of one of the women in the 6. So the 6 women went over and, what the fuck are you doing liking my fella's Facebook picture? What? Whack! And the 6 of them beat the shit out of the woman. So where would teaching men don't attack in that case come into it? It wouldn't. But that's a narrative that the media likes to portray, because it, 1, gives us a villain, it 2, gives us a victim, the victim in this case being women, it makes all women afraid, and the monster is bigger than you and stronger than you, so you should be afraid. So stay tuned and read my next article and watch the next news clip, because I'll tell you how you can get around this. It's just a fear propagating thing to keep people interested. It's a nice narrative, it's an easy narrative to push. Not all women are attacked by men. Not all attacks are perpetrated by men. Women attack men all the fucking time. So this idea of, would it make more sense to spend the time teaching men not to attack? The vast majority of us know not to attack. And the vast majority of us who know not to attack spend our time teaching other people how to defend themselves from people who do attack. So I get why that is a thought process, I really do, but it doesn't fucking work. Because again, if just teaching somebody not to do it worked, you wouldn't have repeat offenders. Then, of course, we have to take into account the people that are off their tits on drugs. So if you're smacked off your face on angel dust, you're just going to start lashing out at whoever. So again, we're not in a position there to talk them down. No amount of education is going to have an effect because this guy's brain isn't fucking working. This guy could be the nicest guy in the world all throughout the week, but because someone's just put something in his drink which has had a really, really bad chemical reaction in his brain, he's now turned into the fucking Antichrist. So it doesn't matter what he knows, he's still going to visit violence on people. So it is a nice idea. It is a nice idea to just educate your sons, teach your sons not to attack. It's not always sons that attack. Daughters attack daughters. It's not just sons attacking daughters, and this is something that we have to get around. It's an uncomfortable thing because we don't want to believe that everybody is capable of violence, but they are. But I get it that it's an easier thing and it's more palatable for us to digest to say, well, just educate people. Why must you fight violence with violence? Because that's unfortunately the only thing that people understand. Yes, but if you educated them better, then they would understand. But no, because some people just don't have the wiring. If you get somebody who is, they're criminally insane, then you're going to come into trouble. If you get someone who's off their drugs and can't be reasoned with, you're going to run into trouble. What if the person you're trying to reason with doesn't speak the same language as you? There's all these little bits and pieces that come in to make up the whole that we tend to overlook because it's an easier narrative to just say, educate your sons. Well, no. I'd rather, I mean, I don't have kids, but I'd rather my daughter knows how to defend herself rather than just take it that other people are going to not do stuff. So I'd rather my children know how to look after themselves than their safety be dependent on somebody else not attacking. I'd rather me know how to fix my car than be dependent on somebody else stopping to know how to fix my car. I'd rather me know to not leave naked flames unattended in my home rather than me be dependent on the quick response time of the fire brigade. I'd rather me not stab myself multiple times in the chest than be dependent on the hospital knowing how to patch me up. I'd rather be dependent on me being dependent on me. I'd rather be dependent on me looking after myself than me to be dependent on others being responsible for it. So it's kind of that case of, well, if I drive shit-faced, that's fine because everybody else is sober, so there shouldn't be any crashes. I'd rather be dependent on me knowing how to stop, look, and listen before I cross the road than be dependent on the other drivers knowing how to drive properly when I cross the road. So it's just taking a little bit more responsibility for ourselves. Don't come at me with the whole, victim blaming. I'm not fucking victim blaming, and I've been through this many, many, many times before, and it's really a conversation you don't want to have with me. What I'm saying is the concept of teach men not to attack does not work in reality because of, as previously stated, it's not just men who attack, and it's not just a sexually motivated attack that will occur. So I can't see any problems with anything I've said here. I'm sure this won't blow up at some point. But that's it. So no, time would not be better spent teaching people because some people know already that it is wrong to attack, but they do it anyway because, as previously mentioned, they don't give a flying fuck about your rights.